Okay, this is part 2 of the video on the block. Okay, so I'll update to where we are now. So we've now put the flats on here. Okay, for that. That's the diverter. This has been lead soldered together and it's got a new bolt running through here. So that's all done. And then the tap stems, you can see these have had the flats put on. They've been tapped out in here for the captive nut, and then the jumpers have been fitted. We've also got the tap bodies now. You can see these have been milled, so we've got the hexagonal nut. Right, the diverter plate, take that off. You can see this now has been milled, so we've got a nice meaty section on here. If you remember what was on there before, it was extremely thin. There's obviously lots of components here. I'm just trying to think what we've been working on. There's a gasket now. Of course, that's the base gasket for the block. Here's some of the O-rings, and the gland nuts. The gland nuts for these tap bodies. There we go. So these were quite worn and they were oval. So what I've done, I've bored them out and I've just silver soldered a new bush inside. So I'm going to put these in the lathe in a minute and remachine those out. The handle for the diverter, this fella here, I've turned some oak for these. I can't really touch them because I've just varnished them. They've got the first coat of varnish on, so those go that way on. So there's a pair of those to go on there when they're done. There's a few layers to go on there, so they'll take a little bit of a while. So that's really sort of an update from before. If you remember, these were the original tap stems. If you look now, we've got these nice new chaps. You've got nice new sort of flats on here with the shafts here, are nice and straight. These were obviously terribly worn. And we've got some decent brand new jumpers on there, and obviously washers and other brass washers and the nuts. So okay, the next clip will be this chap together and polished. So see you in a bit. Okay, this is the last part of part 2. We've got the block all back together again now and it's been tested. So all the components are here ready to go. The central outlet here is for the body jets, which is obviously up here, which says spray. Obviously that's not been used, so that's a blanking plug I've made. You can see the fibrous washer inside there. The rest of them, they've all got the washers inside, the olives, so it can all go on to 22s. You can always reduce it down to a 15. We've got 3 check valves here, one for hot, one for cold, and then if you reverse the other one for the shower, the overhead shower, it'll stop it back feeding through the diverter and then through the bath spouse. But the diverter plate itself is actually very good. I've had it under pressure and I've had it blocked off and it doesn't seem to get past it, so it's pretty good as that. There's a cork gasket here, and then when you fit it, just put maybe a bit of silicone on so it stuck to the underneath of the block. It'll just make it easy for fitting. You can always trim round afterwards with a scalpel if there's any excess poking out. There's some spare O-rings here. Okay, so each one of these goes under here. Works much better than messing about with PTFE trying to get them to seal. So if you ever need to strip it down and change them and they're deformed, there's some spare ones there. The best way to assemble that is if you clean everything up and then put the O-ring on the male part of the thread and then put a little bit of Vaseline on the opposite mating surface, and then as you tighten the boss up, it won't then start tearing the O-ring up. It'll slide nicely and it'll seat really well. And of course one side will grip and the other will allow it to slip, so you should get a good seal there. If the hot and cold are the wrong way around, the threads are the same, so just unscrew the porcelain cap and swap them over, and that's it really. So all done. Okay. Cheerio!